founder of Fire Research and Training Limited Company. It works on scientific research and training, also providing expertise like website development, digital assistantship, etc. Mostly working on astrophysics topics on scientific research domain and interdisciplinary related research fields. But today, we will not directly talk about astrophysics or scientific research per se. We will be mostly on the intersection of them with the arts. And our very important guest is here, Nesli Kaya. And she has a very deep expertise in performative arts, visual arts, musics, and many other topics as well. But I would rather let her speak about herself firstly. So, could you please introduce yourself?
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me, and hello everyone. I'm Nesli Kaya. I'm an interdisciplinary artist. I think science and art go hand in hand, and in history we see it, especially in the Middle Ages with Hildegard von Bingen. We see examples of it in Renaissance, and even now. So I really value the place of science in our day-to-day lives, but most importantly in art and in my art. I've had the utmost luck and pleasure of studying and working with some of the greatest and unique minds of 20th century. I see myself as very lucky from that point, and like Marian Desplatovic, I had the chance of studying with him at Connecticut College, who had this encyclopedic knowledge about history and philosophy and literature, and like Kristen Pfefferkorn, who is a sculptor and a philosopher at the same time. She was right from Germany. She went through the Second World War in Berlin, and fleeing Berlin, found herself in New York City working as a fashion model. Then at age 40 decided that, or rather discovered that she's a sculptor, so she picked up sculpture, and probably at age 60 she did her PhD at Yale and wrote books. So I see these experiences as truly invaluable for me. And in terms of my art, I had a mini exhibition at the Guggenheim Museum in New York City. At the time, artists from post-Second World War, they were present, like Henri Matisse, Klein, Pollock, Kandinsky, and Karen Finley, who was present there, who was an extraordinary contemporary artist and a performance artist. She asked me, who is missing here? I had not expected that question, but after pondering a bit, I realized that there weren't any women present, except for Louise Bourgeois. Just she was there as a sculptor, but not as a painter. And there was nobody from the East, so to speak. So I decided to, in a way, integrate in my own way Fahrennisa Zeid, this Turkish painter, also from the post-World War II era, for her to be present at the Guggenheim Museum. And for this project to take place, I had painted 6 paintings using only ink. In that way, I could also reference literature, which was really important for me. And in those 6 paintings, I summarized the life of the cosmos, so a tangent to astrophysics, but also talking about fractal geometry, the let's say, the dialogue between the microcosmos and the macrocosmos, and also summarizing human life, like how from an embryo, how the growth of a person takes place, and then finally the finale of a life of a person. And this was presented, and I also had integrated what now we call method acting, but actually it goes back to the Sumerian times, to the high priestess ceremonies. When they put on their tiara, they start being looked up at as goddesses instead of human beings. So for about 20 minutes, I was Farnesazit at the Guggenheim Museum for that project.
Wow. Quite a very interesting introduction about yourself. So, without further ado, I would like to move forward to the questions directly pointed towards you. We will have 7 questions at overall, and of course there might be something more developed after the talks, but let me start with the first one.
Sure.
So what is the most influential artwork of others you encountered throughout your lifetime?
Ooh. Throughout my whole lifetime?
Yes.
Well, there is a painting by Bedri Rahmi Eyüboğlu. Bedri Rahmi is both a painter and a poet. I have come across this painting quite unexpectedly in Ankara, and I was smitten by this painting. There is this movie, Somewhere in Time. Basically, in the film, there is a gentleman who falls in love with a painting. It was that kind of a special and really intense moment, because I could see that he had used art from the Urartu times.
Wow.
And he had not painted that painting. It was just, he just put clothes, like patches of clothes together, and it was being sold at a, I would say, really funny price. I felt like I was Felix Mendelssohn coming across Johann Sebastian Bach's scores in a music score shop, which had actually, like, that's how we know Johann Sebastian Bach's scores through Mendelssohn. And why it was so inspiring to me is that he had this relationship with this Armenian painter who was quite junior of him, and she passes away at a very young age. So there is this always this incompletion about his life and his art. When we look at Bedri Rahmi, his life and his work, and I was so surprised that I could see from the date that it was just like 2 years before his death. So what does one do when you're about to just finalize your life? I could just feel that he had drawn her, but he had drawn her as an Urartu princess, and nobody understood it. So like they were transferring the painting like upside down and so on and so forth. So that was one of the paintings that has inspired me a lot. The other one is Le Talisman. Le Talisman is a painting that dances between, shall we say, concrete and abstract, and that's how I view my life as well. It's a dance between like a little bit of reality, a little bit of dream, and it's anything in between. Of course there are more paintings and artworks that have inspired me, but I can say like lately, like Bedri Rahmi's painting and Le Talisman are the two.
Very good, actually. We are being provided by the two of the most influential artwork.
Yeah.
While we were quite fine with the expecting only one. So thank you very much for a very deep explanation about these things. I will definitely look up with them as well. And
Yeah.
I will try to put that on the video too, if there is no problem of the copyright, etc. As a thumbnail, at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
So okay, so Now we are moving towards the second question. It's another simple one like that one. What's your favorite quote from someone else?
Ooh. Mr. Güray, I have to tell you something. It's a bit hard to find just like one. In terms of like, you know, like
maybe we would like to confine the boundaries of this which quote from you. Like it might be also an artist or scientist or another thing. Like from an ancient times or contemporary times.
Geçici olan bir anın bile zengin bir geçmişi vardır. It's a quote from Wisława Szymborska, who was a Nobel laureate in literature. I immediately remembered the Turkish translation. Even a fleeting moment has a deep history. I suppose that would be a translation in English. Yes.
Thank you.
Of course.
So here's our next question. While I came up, in recent times I came across the Henry Thoreau's book on walking. It's actually on a quite type of conversation with the reader there, so it's quite an easy read and it's quite short too. At one point, he starts to explain, while trying to explain the importance of directly going out towards the nature, towards the forest, he tells you that even though an artist or a singer might very well represent while his or her songs, the way of singing, etc., like love song, like the pain of losing someone dear, etc. On his thoughts, it's impossible to represent, let's say, the joy of the beautiful morning. So I talked about it a lot at that time, and I just superficially considered that many songs are on war, love, losing someone, or some maybe existential thoughts, but not really directly representing the beautiful morning joy to me. So I wanted to ask you if you would like to do something about it, like any kind of artwork, let it be visual, musical, performative. Do you think it is possible for you to express the morning joy there?
I dare say I have, in my own way, I have done it with one painting, and it was not planned. And then I decided to actually name the painting Dawn, which is early morning, sunrise. It's also a symbolic representation of my dear great aunt who was named Seher, which means dawn in Turkish.
Yes.
So sometimes when we have a sort of a plot to fulfill, a plan, it doesn't work like that. In my experience, it's not. It's too sometimes confining, a bit forced for me. I want to be free in terms of time and thought and feeling when I'm doing art, when I'm in that kind of mental and emotional space. And if I can find those, shall we say, flames of freedom, and sometimes they come quite unexpectedly, and if I can create something, then it naturally finds its place in my own universe, and then I can name it something. So I'm happy that for me, I'm sure there are other people who have done amazing works and pieces of art, but for me, I think that painting represents the beautiful morning that you mentioned.
Oh, that's very good. There are still so many interesting things from artists that we can actually see rather than what we expect from or historical artists or previous times artists, let's say. Historical artists is a dog word, I agree. So very interesting to hear about that. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Now we go much further actually, now from the beautiful joy of the morning. Now we go, if there is any way that you or anybody else maybe, but we are now focusing on you. Can you compose a song or a music piece that can actually end a war, let's say?
Wow, what a question. I really appreciate all your questions, by the way. I suppose the honest answer is if I could have done it, I would have done it a long time ago.
Yeah, that's one way to think about it, yes. Since you would really not like to have war in our world.
Yes.
I'm just actually wondering this in this way. Let me elaborate a little bit more. So, in theory, hypothetically,
yes.
Like, is it? Let's say there are like two different people in a rigorous fight with each other. That definitely goes for the completely eliminating, destroying one side. So it is just in a bigger sense in the war case like that. Theoretically, can there be a way that, like, touching the bomb telly in Turkish,
yes,
that somehow vibrates their empathetical sides more, so that they will start to change themselves on that point, I heard.
Now I have to put forth my artistic and my emotional side, because when you mention war, I tend to think of the concrete reasons, the economics behind it, and all the things unwanted. And let's say my adult brain and rational brain is saying, there are these reasons, like, and you have a rational mind, and therefore it is possible to do this and it is not possible to do that. But to give an example, as a kid, when I was 7 years old, I had written my first poem, and it was called Öyle bir dünya istiyorum ki, I want such a world. So that was like complete, like you could see complete purity and naivete in that poem, where, as you mentioned, a song, a piece of music could end all things unwanted, including wars, including any kind of unwanted things. So, as Picasso said, it's not easy to remain a child, but as an artist, that's a must. So, if I can gather myself back into that child spirit, yes, if I can make people cry with feelings of empathy, I want to say it's possible. And for that, I will not use the opposite of peace concept, but I will say a fight had already taken place in me, and the childlike, the emotional, the artistic side of me had to conquer the rational, the adult thinking brain.
That's very refreshing to hear, actually, since even though we might not expect or believe or hope because of the unwelcome or very bad situations in our current world, there might still be a flicker of hope still.
Yes, and I think hope is so important. Hope, in French we say espoir. Espoir, esprit, these are all like, they are tangents to the word breathing. So like hope and breathing, breath, they come from the same root. I think this is so important.
Respiration, right?
And the respiration, bravo, yeah, there's like, so it tells us, even the very language we use, it tells us how important it is to have hope. Without hope, there can be no life. So hope is always there. Of course, like nothing is guaranteed in life, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to take action. We are of course going to take action.
Yes, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Now we will move through more of a scientific research concepts as well, not directly, but you will understand from the questions anyway. So here's the next question. So when you look at a piano, especially your piano, let's say, what do you actually see?
Wow, that's a really beautiful question. not just any piano, but when I look at my own piano, I see fire. There is a story with that. My piano, I name all my instruments. I have 4 instruments to date. My piano, my guitar, my cello, and my other guitar. And they all have their names.
Oh.
And my piano is called Phoenix. My great aunt, who was like my mother in my life, she always valued arts and music, and all sorts of arts and fashion and everything. And she told me, as in her final time in her life, she told me, like, you are never going to give up playing the piano. I said, okay. And when I was 12 years old, she had told me, if I die, then, you just don't be sad. Please don't be sad. You just play the piano, and I want it to be a white piano. So then there came a time where I was about to apply to the program at New York Conservatory, which is the first independent conservatory in the States, and you couldn't apply or you couldn't get accepted if you didn't have a piano. So I said, okay, I crossed my fingers. There's no guarantee in life. I don't know what's going to come out of it, but I got that piano, and I named it Phoenix. And it wasn't always how shall we say, peaceful flight from that time on. There have been many difficult moments, and I had to fight, and I had to preserve the hope in myself, and not everybody can be supportive of you, but that piano reminded me every time, and it's a white piano, and it's called Phoenix. Even if you get burned, let's say, what is the worst that can happen to you? Like, you are to reborn from your ashes,
Yes.
because you're a phoenix. So it was like, so for me, my piano represents hope. My piano represents dawn, the beautiful morning that you formerly asked, yes, from the previous questions. And it's white, again, to commemorate my great aunt.
No, thank you very much for
Simply.
these deep answers. So, okay, another similar question, but this time, not something yours, maybe for all of us, or maybe none of us at the same time.
Okay.
What do you see when you look up the sky?
Wow.
Especially the night sky, morning sky separately.
Beautiful, beautiful question. I love it. It has been one of the favorite things that I've done ever since I've come into existence, I suppose. It's, I feel excitement, and I see stars, I see possibility, I see potential, I see dreams, and it's also like looking back in time. So in a way, how can we see time? Can we see time? We experience time. Do we experience time? Does time exist? So it's like I see philosophy, and it's so certain things like our language has limitations.
Yes.
For our experiences that we go through our lives. So the sky, or the skies, as my dear Professor Potsi Escott would say, it has always been excited. It has always excited me. So it makes me dream. I see. So the short answer to your question. I know I can't give short answers to your questions. But I do my best.
That's the whole idea, actually.
But I do my best to be as short as possible. So it's like the depth of our existence. Like, it makes me think of, for example, I don't know, say a location in ancient Greece, and they would find solace, and they would find solace in just looking at the stars. So, in other words, there is a therapeutic effect of looking at the stars as well.
Yes.
It makes us, and so many poets have written poems and some of the amazing poets are also scientists, like among them Ömer Hayyam. And so a drive for dreaming and wonder, a sense of wonder and reverence. That's what I see when I look up at the skies.
Very interesting. It's almost impossible to be shallow with the sky, actually.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So we move to another question. Actually, last of my question right now. So I consider I myself a scientist. Mostly I know how to make scientific research in different domains as well, like a focused activity trying to advance the boundaries of the science. I'm not very sure about how artistic activity is done, but you have experienced both of them, so I can ask you these questions. So, can you do both scientific and artistic activity at the same time in a single day, let's say? So when we consider ourselves, we generally separate days for a single activity. Then if we retire from scientific activity for resting, let's say, then we might actually go to a concert, maybe play a song, sing a song, etc., etc. So how do you look on this subject yourself?
I have done both on the same day.
So it is doable.
Yeah, I think it's doable. It's all doable. I think it's all doable. Let's see. At the time I was studying mathematics and biology, and also I was at the New England Conservatory, and also I was on a different university's dance team. So, practically, I was at 3 universities at the same time at the time. So
it sounds so.
And then student club and the dance team in one university, the mathematics and biology classes in a different university, and my main studies at the New England Conservatory. I can really push my own limits. My first alma mater, I think I took maybe twice the load of a normal student's class load, and I was barely eating, barely sleeping, but I was getting everything done. So I think as long as we want something and we are passionate and we see value in it, it's all possible.
That's very good to hear. So next questions again, scientific related. Actually, this is not a question. I have actually finished all the questions. It's just a very simple short thing now I'm asking. So is there any scientific activity or the field that you would like to develop yourself in the scientific sense that you will also use in your artistic endeavors?
Yes, I would love to. I would love to first, so this is how, I'm a maximalist by nature. I just can't help it. For me to be able to call myself, for example, mathematician, I have to first study mathematics. At the moment, I cannot call myself a mathematician. It's not possible for me to call a scientist. So I would love to study mathematics and physics. Those fields are the closest to my heart in terms of sciences, and the mathematics as the queen of all sciences. And then physics in ancient Greek, it means nature. So those 2 fields I would love to first study and then get into them more, get more depth, and then finally to be able to say that I'm a scientist and a mathematician.
So I myself actually am very eager to see what will come out after you get even deeper on these fields.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it is also my utmost pleasure. At the moment, I'm not a scientist, but I've had the honor and luck of working with scientists and studying with scientists, great scientists. So the most current one, currently, I'm learning chemistry from Mr. Güray. I'm learning chemistry, absolutely, and He's from Middle East Technical University, which is like MIT of Turkey. So it is my honor to be studying chemistry with him. He's a chemist, active chemist. So, and I had the honor of studying with, for example, Robert Cogan, who has been my not only principal teacher, but also my mentor for quite many years at the New England Conservatory, who had this extraordinary background in physics and music theory, and for many years he was an active composer, and who was one of the first people, if not the first, to invite IBM to conduct spectroscopic research on sound in a music conservatory setting. And I had the honor of studying with Potiesco Demoson, who was a mathematician and also a music theorist and composer, also at the New England Conservatory. So it's a really huge privilege to be able to spend invaluable time with these utterly invaluable people, and I really, really respect all scientists.
So very good, and I also feel privileged about being honored as myself and Middle East Technical University at the same time. Thank you very much for these two. So, is there anything you would like to say to all of us right now as a last words of the interview?
I think all of us, we are all like potentially speaking, I think all of us, we are both artists and scientists, potentially. Then other things might take place in life. So I hope that whoever might be listening to this interview, I hope that they continue in their aspiration, whatever they may be, and keep hope in their hearts.
Oh, thank you very much. So, again, hello, guys, hello, audience, let's say. So today we would have as a guest Nesli Kaya. Of course, it is impossible to know someone at this very short amount of time, but we get to know very interesting details, and we learned a lot about many different concepts thanks to her. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Güray. Merci.